He was right. James Webb Telescope just spotted 10 galaxies that might be older than the universe, by John Smith. The headline shocked astronomers around the world. The James Webb Space Telescope had potentially spotted 10 galaxies that appear to be older than the universe itself, dating back 13.5 billion years. This remarkable discovery, if confirmed, would completely rewrite our understanding of the origins and age of the cosmos. How could galaxies exist before the universe itself formed? The implications are immense and spark more questions than answers. But one man is not surprised. Dr. Albert Jensen, a controversial physicist who has claimed for decades that the Big Bang theory is wrong, that the universe is far older than we realize, and that ancient galaxies dating back more than 13.7 billion years should exist. Back in 2012, Dr. Jensen published a paper outlining his heterodox views. He argued that the Big Bang was not the beginning of space and time, but rather a transitional phase in an eternal cosmological cycle. The paper was immediately derided and dismissed by the scientific community. Prominent cosmologists like Dr. Kate Stanford called his theories speculative nonsense and a creative fiction story, not science. Dr. Jensen was ultimately forced out of academia after his controversial views cost him research funding and professional standing. For years, he operated outside mainstream science, running a small nonprofit institute to further develop his alternative cosmological models. But he never gave up on his contrarian beliefs. Now, with the potential discovery of these ancient galaxies by the James Webb Space Telescope, Dr. Jensen and his theories are back in the spotlight. His once outlandish views may be vindicated at last. In response to the news, Dr. Jensen said, "I'm pleased, but not surprised. The evidence has long indicated that the universe is far older than the conventional 13.7 billion year estimate based on the Big Bang. This is a paradigm shift that could completely change our understanding of cosmology." So how exactly does Dr. Jensen propose that galaxies could exist before the Big Bang? His cosmological model completely rewrites the timeline of the universe's origins and development. Rather than a single explosive Big Bang marking the beginning, Dr. Jensen's model describes the universe as eternally self-renewing. In this view, the Big Bang was not a unique event, but rather one transition in an endless sequence of cycles of expansion, contraction, and renewal. The current expanding universe we observe is just one phase in this endless cosmological cycle. Thus, galaxies could potentially form and develop during previous cycles, extending indefinitely into the infinite past. According to Dr. Jensen, during each renewal phase, the universe essentially resets, clearing away all particles and structures from the previous cycle. But certain quantum signatures can remain, providing seeds for new galaxies to eventually form and evolve. This means that ancient galaxies from before the current Big Bang are not paradoxical in Dr. Jensen's framework. They originated in earlier cycles, surviving the last cosmic renewal 13.7 billion years ago. Of course, Dr. Jensen's ideas remain highly controversial in mainstream physics. His cyclical cosmological model explicitly requires discarding the concept of a definite beginning to time and space, and the notion that galaxies could somehow survive successive universal cycles remains scientifically speculative. But Dr. Jensen is adamant that only a cyclical cosmology can count for these unexpected observations. He also notes that his model makes additional predictions that upcoming James Webb observations could confirm, for instance, detecting galaxies from previous cycles that appear highly evolved and structured rather than primitive. For now, the astronomy community is reacting with a mixture of disbelief and cautious intrigue to the potential discovery of these ancient galaxies. More observations and analysis will be needed before their existence is confirmed. If they prove real, it would indeed validate at least some of Dr. Jensen's unorthodox ideas. While reluctant to fully endorse Dr. Jensen's model, some scientists are now admitting he may have been on the right track after all. Dr. Alonzo Cooper, a well-respected cosmologist, acknowledged, "If these observations hold up, Albert may not have had all the pieces right, but he was asking the right questions long before the rest of us." Other researchers remain staunchly opposed to embracing Dr. Jensen's cyclic framework. Dr. Sandra Park, an astronomer who doggedly defends the traditional Big Bang origins narrative, reacted strongly, saying, "This changes nothing." Anomalous observations always arise, but the overall body of evidence still firmly establishes that the universe began 13.7 billion years ago. One stunning JWST image won't undo everything we know. The heated debates among cosmologists are only beginning. But vindication for the controversial theorist Dr. Jensen may be close at hand. If more evidence accumulates for galaxies existing before the Big Bang, history may view him as a visionary who saw beyond the horizon of conventional thinking. Only time and more observation will tell. For now, Dr. Jensen has this simple comment: "I've always followed the evidence, even when it led to uncomfortable truths. If these galaxies are real, the truth is clear. We have much more to learn about the origin of our universe." In summary, the potential discovery by the James Webb Space Telescope of galaxies older than 13.7 billion years would provide dramatic support for the unconventional cyclical cosmological model proposed by Dr. Albert Jensen. His once dismissed views of an eternally renewing universe where galaxies can originate in prior cycles before the current Big Bang may prove to have been extraordinarily prescient. More observations are needed to confirm these ancient galaxies, but if verified, they would force a complete rethink of accepted cosmology, and Dr. Jensen would be seen as a scientific rebel who was right all along when he proposed that the universe is far older than conventional estimates. The cosmological community would be shaken to its core, but also galvanized to pursue new theoretical frameworks, observations, and discoveries to completely rewrite our picture of how the universe formed, developed, and renews across trillions upon trillions of years. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss new videos.